Alright, this is gonna be a more off the script video. I'm just gonna speak my mind and do the predictions here, so let's just get started with the AL. Alright, so for AL MVP, I'm gonna go with Yordan Alvarez. I believe Alvarez will have a great hitting season. I don't think he's gonna be close to the Judge season of last season, but I think it's still gonna be like a 50 home run season. Obviously, being a DH for him, he's gonna have to have an elite hitting season. He had that last year. I think if it wasn't for the fact that Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge had historical seasons, I think Yordan would have won it literally like in any other season. I think that Judge is going to come a little down to earth. I think he's still going to have like 35 home run season, but he's also going to be playing that above average defense and right. I just think Yordan's just going to have a great hitting season. And for Shohei, I think Shohei's still going to be great. I just have a feeling Yordan's just going to win it over both of them. And I actually do have a dark horse candidate for AL MVP here. That is, if this player stays healthy and plays, I think, a minimum of 145, 150 games, he will definitely be in the consideration for AL MVP. That's Byron Buxton. And, I'm a little biased here. I'm a Twins fan, but Byron is such a great player, and obviously right now they're limiting him by making him DH at the start of the season, which I think is a great thing to do. He's gotten injured the past couple times earlier in the season, and only is able to play 90, 95 games, and he's just so good. I just really think if Byron can play 150 games, he will definitely be in consideration for the AL MVP, and if he stays healthy, he could have a 40-40 season, which is crazy to say, but it's true. Alright, so next up is AL Cy Young, and I'm going to go with Carlos Rodon of the Yankees. I believe Rodon will just have an insane year, even though you could argue he's only the second best pitcher on his roster with Garrett Cole there. I just have a feeling that Rodon's going to have a better season than Cole. As we saw last year, Nestor Cortez was the best pitcher on the Yankees for the majority of the season. Heck, you could say that he was the best pitcher on the roster for the entire season. I believe Rodon's going to come in and have a Cy Young contending season. Last season with the Giants, he was elite. When he was with the White Sox, he was elite. I think he's just going to take that next step, and this could be considered a dark horse candidate to see for Cy Young if you really wanted to, but I do believe Rodon will have that season that will put him over the edge as one of the best players in the league. And for my dark horse for Cy Young here in the AL, I'm going to go with Luis Castillo. Young dude, elite with the Reds last season, which is kind of insane to speak of, the Reds last season, and then got traded to the Mariners and continued his dominancy. Very young player, and yeah, he's a dark horse for me. I think he's still got a couple more years before he really breaks out for a Cy Young contender, but we saw last year, the year before that, in the NL with Corbin Burns and Sandy Alcantara, two younger players who we thought, oh, they're not going to be good until a little later. They won their Cy Youngs a little early, so, maybe Castillo just breaks out, has an elite season. You never know. Alright, for Rookie of the Year in the AL, I'm just going to go with the easy, obvious pick. I'm going to go with Gunnar Henderson. Not much to really say. He's just so good. And that infield for Baltimore is going to look so good in the future. You got Mountcastle, Henderson, Jackson Holiday's coming up. I don't know where Mateo fits in there. He'll probably just keep playing second base. I don't know if I'm forgetting about someone. Probably am. Just talking to you off the cuff. Yeah, not a surprise here. I think Volpe could win it, but I don't have him written down. But yeah, I'm just going to go with Gunnar Henderson for that. And then for Manager of the Year, I'm going to go with Brandon Hyde of the Orioles. Last year, I honestly think he should have won it because, last year we thought, oh, they're just going to be a bottom dweller again. No, they come out, they're in the playoff contention for almost the entire season, have a little bit of a skid. That's what takes him out eventually. He's winning it this year. Brandon Hyde, fantastic job. I believe the Orioles are going to break out as a genuine threat in the AL this season. Or not a threat, but a team that, if all the pieces really work, they're going to go really far. Deserved it last year, in my opinion, but, this year he'll for sure win it. Alright, so next up we got the NL for NL MVP. Pretty obvious pick here. Juan Soto, I believe that he's used to hitting in Petco now. He's going to be playing, I believe, left field, I think so. Left or right. He's going to play corner outfield. Probably DH, actually, most of the season. I'm not sure about that, but what you're getting with Juan Soto is his OPS, his on-base, his slug. He's just so good. He's one of the best pure hitters in the league, and I don't mean like hitting. I mean slugging too. He can everything. It's Juan Soto. He's so good. And I just believe that he's now used to hitting in Petco, and I believe because Petco is more of a hitter-friendly park, I believe he's just gonna pop off, have an elite season. And the fact that they have Tatis coming back, they have Manny Machado, they have Juan Soto. I mean, that team is so stacked, and their pitching rotation is pretty good. Oh man, the Padres look really good, and Juan Soto is going to lead the charge as NL MVP. Next up is my dark horse for NL MVP. I'm just going to go with Nolan Arenado. I believe he finished second or third last season behind his teammate in Goldie. Not really a dark horse, but kind of just the dude I think will finish second or third behind Soto. And if he goes really right, then it will. I think Arenado will win it more off the fact that he's a more well-rounded player off of Soto in this case. I think the way Arenado will win this is obviously by the fact that he plays elite defense at third base and also can hit very well. If he hits at a level just below Soto while playing that elite defense, he will win MVP. But I think in like 75% of cases, Juan Soto's winning this MVP over Nolan Arenado. Next up is Cy Young, and I'm just going to go with the repeat. I'm going to go with Alcantara again. I believe Alcantara last season. I love Alcantara. Huge Alcantara fan. I knew he was going to have an elite season. I knew he was going to be great. Didn't know he was going to win the Cy Young. Like, right now, this is the season. If he didn't win it last season, this was a season where I was like, yeah, he's definitely going to win the Cy Young this season. But he won it last year, and he could probably just win it again this year. There's a lot of great pitchers in the NL right now. It's just, I believe Alcantara will have that season again. He'll have just an unbelievable season. Obviously, the NL East is just stacked with pitchers. I mean, the Mets rotation, the Braves rotation, the Marlins rotation, the Phillies rotation too. I mean, Nats don't really have anything. Sorry, Nats fans, but you know, I think Alcantara will go back-to-back this year, in like 90% of cases. For my dark horse, this is probably my most true dark horse. It's Kodai Senga, coming over from Japan on the Mets. Probably third in that rotation, probably even fourth, because David Peterson started the second game for the Mets this season instead of Verlander. So, Senga, I think obviously he's going to start out pretty low just because he's coming over. We're not really sure how he's going to translate to this game, and in this case, I think he could definitely translate into a Cy Young contender. And this is a very rare instance. This is like a real true dark horse. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about Kodai Senga. Alright, for my NL Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Miguel Vargas. I believe, due to the fact that Gavin Lux injured early in the spring training, out for the season, I think he's going to get a lot of playing time, and I think he's going to make the most of it. I think Miguel Vargas will definitely come out and just play ball. I don't know what else to say. He's going to be very good. You could also put Corbin Carroll up here, but I'm gonna sway more towards Vargas due to the fact that he is gonna have to take over for the fact that Lux is out. Justin Turner isn't there, so he'll probably be the starting third baseman. I believe he was starting third base, or maybe not. Not really sure. Not a Dodgers guy. I haven't really looked into that. But Vargas, I hope he really has a good season, and I truly believe that he'll win Rookie of the Year. For NL Manager of the Year, I'm gonna go with Skip Schumacher of the Miami Marlins, and like the Orioles, I believe the Marlins will have a great season. I think the Marlins will sneak into the playoffs this season. I believe that the Marlins, their pitching rotation is just so good that they have to make the playoffs, or at least get the playoff contention, like be in that race for the majority of the season. And the moves they made this offseason, bringing in Luis Arraez, big Luis Arraez fan. Jazz Chisholm in the center field, wasn't the biggest fan of it. It looks like it's working for 2 games, obviously. They're just such a fun young team, and I really hope they make the playoffs this year. And I think Skip is going to win, Skipper of the Year. So that is it for my award predictions, but I'm going to just do some playoff predictions. So let's go for the AL and the AL West, and the number 1 seed in the AL. We're going to Astros. I mean, pretty obvious. They have that young talent coming in now. Obviously, they lost JV, but Christian Javier, Lance McCullers, and Framber Valdez, they'll pick up the slack. It's fine. That team's so good. Astros are number 1 seed. For the number 2 seed in the AL East, I'm going with the Yankees. Really hated putting him here, but yeah, they're just going to continue that dominance. I believe Judge is going to stay healthy. He's still going to be their best player. Hope Giancarlo Stanton continues what he kind of had last season, that rotation with Cortez, Severino, Cole, and Rodon, obviously, and Montas. Oh my gosh, that is an insane rotation. You know, they're going to be number 2. And number 3 in the AL, winning the AL Central, I'm going to go with the Twins. Obviously, I'm a Twins fan. I was really upset with the fact that people kept ranking the Guardians over us, you know, the team that literally made no moves for the Twins. Obviously, we traded for Pablo Lopez. We got back Carlos Correa after one of the weirdest off seasons imaginable. Kyle Farmer has looked pretty good in his 2 games, you know, coming in. Nick Gordon, I presume, will continue to progress. Royce Lewis is coming up. Brooks Lee is close to coming up, to the fact that he was a college prospect. You know, Twins are looking not only good now, but good for the future. And that bullpen has been so elite. I'm so proud for them. Yeah, sorry, I went on a tangent about the Twins there. But for 4th in the AL, I'm going to go with the Orioles. Yeah, Orioles. Like I said, I think the Orioles will be able to come out and make the playoffs, and they could make some noise in the playoffs even. And yeah, I just really believe in the Orioles, especially through the fact that I think maybe Jackson Holliday could even get a chance in the majors later in the season if they've clinched a playoff spot, or if they are out of the playoffs, maybe he'll get some time in the majors. Hopefully he does. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe he's a little too young, but young team, a lot of prospects. At number 5 in the AL, I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. That team's so good. Bo Bichette, Vladdy, George Springer, that rotation with Gausman at the top, Barrios, former Twin. Yeah, they're making the playoffs. I don't know if they're another one of the teams where I think everything needs to go right. Everything has to click in place where they go on a run to the World Series. But yeah, they're making the playoffs. And then we'll round out at number 6 with the Mariners. Yeah, I just think the Mariners are going to continue what they had last season. I think they have a higher upside than the Blue Jays, but I think the Blue Jays will be more consistent than the Mariners. I think the Mariners will have a lower floor. I think they'll have a higher chance to make the World Series than the Blue Jays, due to the fact that they do have a higher ceiling, but I only have them at 6 here, due to the fact that I think the Blue Jays will just have a better overall season. And you may notice that I actually left out the Rays. I just think the Rays will have a year where it'll be very disappointing. I believe that they'll be in playoff contention for most of the year, same with the Guardians too, but they're just not going to really put it together when they really need to, and they're just kind of going to sit down and kind of get eliminated with like a week left or something, and then next year maybe they'll come back and be really good. Alright, now for my NL playoff predictions, I'm going to go with the Padres at number 1. That team's stacked. Nothing else to say, kind of with the Astros, stacked teams. Yeah, they're number 1 seed. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Mets. I believe the Mets will be the best in the East, and that's crazy to say, but they definitely will. I think it will be the same thing as last season, where there will be 2, maybe even 3 teams that have 100 wins in the East, but one team will have to get home field through the playoffs, or home field, or get a bye, not have to play the wild card round. That team's going to be the Mets. I believe the Mets are better than the Braves and Phillies. At number 3 with the Cardinals, yeah, the NL Central continues to be a joke. I mean, the Brewers are going to be mediocre. The Cubs are going to be mediocre. We already know the Reds and Pirates are going to be bad. So it's just like, it's the Cardinals division to lose, to be honest. And it's just sad that they have to take a number 3 spot due to the way that the playoffs are set up. And that's unfortunate due to the fact that I think the Braves and the Phillies at number 4 and 5 here, they're interchangeable due to the fact that I think the Mets will have a 100-win season. I believe the Braves will have a 100-win season. The Phillies could even have a 100-win season. So those 3 teams could literally be in any one of those spots in any of those mismatch. I just think the Mets will be the first or the number 1 team out of them. Then I'm going to go with Braves and then Phillies. Those teams are just so good. And number 6, though, this is a really surprising one. I'm going to say the Dodgers playoff hopes, or the Dodgers playoff streak, snaps this season. I'm going to go with the Marlins. Yeah, you heard me. I believe the Marlins will have an Orioles-type season last season, except they'll actually make the playoffs. Do I think they'll do something? Yeah, I do think so, because my World Series prediction, bias is all heck. Twins are winning over Marlins. Don't know why. Definitely going to be wrong, but, you know, the best part about predictions is just having a fun time. I love making stupid predictions because it's fun. Because if they're right, well, if they're right, then it's just more fun. And if you're wrong, then you can just say, oh, that was a stupid prediction. But those are going to be my MLB season predictions, even though like 2 games have already been played and it's a little late. Sorry, I was working on a different video. Make sure you like and subscribe. See ya.